giving him a tough fight. What do you see the rematch?
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter.
It's what you're gonna get from Roach. That's what you're gonna get at Roach every time. I think it's up to Tank to see, what type of how far he could go up.
And he won't take too long to fight.
1. Boxing experts have voiced strong and often surprising opinions ahead of the highly anticipated rematch between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. Shakur Stevenson warned that the fight could be dangerous.
What do you think, considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight? What do you see the rematch?
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
2. Ryan Garcia also shared his perspective, stating that Roach showed exactly what he's capable of in their first encounter. Garcia believes the pressure now rests on Davis to push himself further, emphasizing that only Davis
match play out if they do fight again. Sometimes not a loss, but something like this, a blemish, might get you back.
It can. It's all up to Tank. It's all about how he feels internally. I think, for him, it's a lot to do up here too, like all of us. But I think that's what you're going to get from Roach. That's what you're going to get at Roach every time, I think. It's up to Tank to see, what type of, how far.
3. Shakur Stevenson, having sparred with Roach, offered deeper insight into Roach's style. He highlighted Roach's unpredictable rhythm and awkward angles, pointing out that these are elements Davis has never faced before. According to Stevenson, Roach's unique movement and slick counterpunching could completely disrupt Davis's game plan.
What does the rematch look like between Lamont and Gervonta, you think?
I like Lamont in the rematch.
I think you were one of the few that kind of picked Lamont to begin with. Why was that?
I sparred with Lamont. I knew that he was a good fighter. He helped me get ready for the Oscar Valdez fight. And I knew his style, with Tank's style, what he was going to be able to bring to the table. I knew it. So.
Did you really win 20 rounds?
I swear to God, on my daughter's life, I won that much money.
How different does a rematch look in your opinion, Shakur? What adjustments do you think we see from both?
Huh?
What adjustments do we see from both in a rematch?
I think I can't tell you game plans. I could be fighting these guys, so I'm gonna keep my secrets to myself. But truthfully, they both good fighters.
Do you think it's a lot different rematch, or do you think it'll be close again?
It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
How did you see Tank in that fight? A lot of people are saying maybe he's just mentally not there. What did you see?
Nah, he was the same Tank. I don't believe that. I don't got no thought in my brain that makes me think that he wasn't the person he been all of these other fights. I think he was the same person. All this stuff that he going through stuff. I mean, everybody go through stuff. So he's the same fighter. He's gonna be the same fighter throughout his career.
4. Former champion. Mikey Garcia gave a more cautious, analytical take on the rematch. He acknowledged Davis's ability to learn from mistakes and expects him to return more disciplined. Garcia emphasized that Tank's ring IQ will be key, but warned that any mental distractions could prove disastrous. If Davis isn't fully focused, Garcia feels he shouldn't step into the ring at all.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, and maybe they get a third fight, after that. Who knows?
Maybe it turns the market back out.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one. Hopefully he puts on a great fight, even if he were to lose, but in a great fight. Shit, he'll get a third fight.
Right. Mikey, what do you make of him saying he wants to go to therapy to fix his mental health, but not yet because he doesn't want to get fixed yet because he needs that edge?
I'm not a psychiatrist, bro. I don't know. Everybody's a little different. What I got to say is if you're dealing with any mental health it seems to be a very common thing. I mean, if you don't feel that you're 100% dedicated or 100% capable of blocking out, personal life issues or whatever to get in the ring, then don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring. Now, if you're,
it seems like a lot of fighters
if you're
are going through stuff and they get in the
if you're going through stuff and you feel like maybe it's helping, like he says, maybe it's helping him fucking do it. Fuck, let him do it. I don't know.
5. Roach's coach stated that Davis's performance in the first fight may have surprised the public, but not their team. They had studied Davis thoroughly, anticipated his tactics, and prepared a focused strategy. Their confidence stemmed not only from training, but also from knowing that Roach had the ability to perform under pressure.
Boxing Doctor News fight fans, big news in the boxing world. Gervonta, Tank, Davis, and Lamont Roach Jr. are gearing up for a rematch that's got everyone talking. Remember their controversial draw back in March? Well, they're running it back. That 9th round knee drop by Davis that wasn't called, it's still causing buzz. Now, these lightweight titans are set to settle the score on August 16th in Vegas. But here's the kicker. Shakur Stevenson, the WBC champ, is warning Davis it's a dangerous move. He says Tank better bring his A game or things could go south. With both fighters hungry to prove themselves, this rematch is shaping up to be an absolute fireworks show. Who you got, Tank or Roach? Drop your predictions below.
6. Kenny Ellis, a member of Davis's coaching staff, was unimpressed by the hype surrounding Roach's intense preparation. He argued that conditioning alone doesn't win fights. Heart and the ability to absorb punishment do. While acknowledging Roach's effort, Ellis stressed that facing someone like Davis requires more than...
You see a different Lamont Roach coming into this fight?
No, I don't. I tell people all the time, no offense, this is not a Lamont Roach, but a fighter can do everything in the gym, man. They can do their push-ups, their pull-ups, they can run 10 miles a day, they can eat their diet, they can change their diet, they can do everything right, but it have to be in your DNA to take pain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing and able to take the pain that come with this shit? That's for any fighter, you know?
Right.
And that's the difference in a lot of the fights. You got to be willing to take the pain that come with it.
Now,
in the actual fight, not the training, in the actual fight.
In the actual fight, what's the difference between, the pain inside the gym gearing up to the fight versus the lights and being on Showtime?
No, the workout pain, muscle sore, fatigue, that's different, but
it prepares you for those lights.
That pain in the actual fight, man, when shit get rattled, your eggs get scrambled, your eyes get blurry, fucking mouth and nose get fucked up.
7. In their first bout, Roach shocked fans and critics by staying composed, sticking to a smart strategy, and keeping pace with Davis round after round. Though the fight ended in a draw, Roach's ability to match Davis showed he belongs at the elite level. For the rematch, Roach has a real opportunity to sharpen his footwork and precision to remove any doubt from the outcome.
Push back because Gervonta Davis is a puncher. So the extra aggression, you have to manipulate it little by little. You have to instigate the extra aggression little by little. You have to get your timing in there. You have to get
my pushback.
And also, this is a southpaw. A southpaw sometimes takes a round or two extra to sort of get their timing, get your distances, because every southpaw is a little bit different. Right now, granted, they know each other, they fought in the amateurs, but it's still a lot of years away. And Gervonta does have a very athletic, speed, quick reflex style. So you've got to sort of pressure intelligently. But while I have said in the past, and I still believe this, that Roach doesn't have that special thing like where he's got really fast hands or a really powerful punch, he still has what I also said in the past, a very good IQ. He's very well trained and very intelligent. His thought process in the ring has a great sense of positioning and a great sense of understanding of where he is in the ring and how to react off that. Could he be a little aggressive, more aggressive? Sure, but you got to keep in mind that you're fighting a puncher who's coming from the southpaw stance and coming from the southpaw athletic angle. Personally, especially knowing what has been said about Gervonta behind the scenes for years that nobody brings out, and it kind of brings to light why they keep matching him with 15 and 20 to 1 underdogs. There is a rumor that behind the scenes, the Gervonta, there's a lot of bitch in him. There's a lot of front runner in him. If you push him, he will break, he will fold. It starts to add up because Lamont is from the D.C. area. They kind of know this. They grew up around him. They fought in the amateurs.
His father, who's his coach, has coached Gervonta in fights.
So that thing sort of comes to light where it's been held back from the public with the limited.
8 for Lamont Roach. This rematch is bigger than just another fight. It's a shot at legacy. Roach has been vocal about wanting this second bout, viewing it as a chance to make boxing history. With June 21st in Las Vegas proposed as the date, Roach is hungry to win and knows he must rise to the occasion to cement his name among boxing's greats.
So the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. So Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin rounds 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll...
9. Roach's assistant coach, Bernie, offered a technical review of the first fight. Although satisfied with Roach's performance, Bernie believes there were missed opportunities for more aggression. The plan for the rematch involves maintaining strong defense while applying calculated pressure to force Davis into difficult situations and take control of the pace.
Documentary, but he did good. Lamont Roach, but only thing, like I say, if he gonna go back and wish he threw his hands more, he might start getting mad at himself and realize that he when he watches the fight, it feel good to hear everybody say that, but when you go watch the fight and you realize, I let him slide too much. Like even the last round, he's standing there posing, looking at the man like and then he got caught with a jab. That wasn't good.
So, you talked about the takeaways of how Lamont could be better in the rematch. And you're the second person that alluded to that. Tell me, what do you see in Lamont in the rematch that he could be more successful? And not and also Tank. He added Barry into the lead position. I don't know do you feel like if that had anything to do with the directioning of it? Because we did hear in the post press conference too, Tank saying that he could have pushed the gas more. He should have, he said. So what's your take on that?
Exactly. He's a champion. He got to defend his title. He like I said, they both was looking at each other. And then finally, after Tank will be the one to throw the first punch. He felt like he wanted to retain his title. Lamont Roach felt like he was just happy to be there and get the success.
10. A shift in opinion has occurred among analysts and former fighters after studying the first fight. Many now believe Roach exposed key weaknesses in Davis's game, particularly his struggles with counters, distance control, and movement. If Roach builds on that, some experts believe he could walk away with the win in the rematch.
Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach is staying as a draw, which is because Gervonta Davis obviously took a knee and it should have been called out as a knockdown, but it wasn't. But this just means that Lamont Roach is going to take Gervonta Davis in the rematch, unless Gervonta Davis ducks the rematch with Lamont Roach because he knows he's going to get his once again.
If I get touched,
You come.
I'm coming on that.
11. Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult made one of the boldest predictions so far, calling for a knockout win by Roach. He cited Davis's lack of longtime trainer Calvin Ford and the post-fight controversies. including Davis blaming hair, grease for his poor vision, as factors that could tilt the rematch in Roach's favor. If Davis isn't completely locked in, Showbiz believes Roach could finish the fight early.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, don't you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bruh, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened to Roy.
12. Since the first bout ended, debates have erupted across the boxing community. Fans, analysts, and fighters continue to argue over who really won. Many feel the draw didn't reflect the true outcome, making the rematch the ultimate decider. With both fighters having something to prove, this second encounter promises intensity, clarity, and a definitive winner. 1. Boxing experts have voiced strong and often surprising opinions ahead of the highly anticipated rematch, but
I just want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit, both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be down, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving them no day props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight, and I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. I'm not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch should happen because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, you know, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see it.
13. Davis's controversial excuse about hair grease didn't sit well with fans, adding even more pressure to the rematch. If Davis loses again, with no excuses to fall back on, it could severely damage his legacy. Critics would be unforgiving, and his historical standing in boxing could take a serious hit.
Is the rematch happening or what? Because I'm ready to see a motherfucker get knocked out again. I'm not here to debate because y'all really go neck and neck for this for the rest of the tournament on who y'all think really won, who y'all think should have won, who y'all think didn't win. This is probably one of the biggest debates that will never be solved. Well, they put up a good fight. I'm not going to lie, y'all, but damn near seemed like it was set up for them to have another match. Because exactly what Lamont did to Tank the whole first half, that's what Tank did to Lamont the whole second half. So what the fuck? It literally went neck for neck. I feel like it was a tie in my opinion. So hard to even say that though because you just see so much demolishment from one and then for it to flip to the other and it just had your mind like, what? Just really had your mind blown. Like, what the fuck? I feel like when it came to the decision on the fight, a lot of people were real biased. A lot of people definitely went off of just a personal opinion of the person, a history of liking the person, not off of the fight itself. I will admit that really going into this fight, the first time, I thought Lamont was going to get his shit knocked off. I thought Tank was going to do him in. Now, although Tank did really show him something at the second half, I'm not going to lie, Lamont had him. He stuck with him the whole 12. If you know anything about boxing, especially boxing a motherfucker like Tank, you know that it's to flex the last 12 rounds just as much as it is to beat a motherfucker. The fact that Lamont lasted 12 rounds with him was really getting up, I'm not gonna lie, stinging shit, all 12. It showed that this next match gonna really show who the fucking winner was. I do gotta say, Tank probably gonna come ready for him, but the fact that Lamont came ready for him, as ready for him as he did last match, I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared for both of them. This should be bigger than the Super Bowl, I'm not gonna lie. They say it's supposed to be happening in the summer, which would be a really good way to kick off the summer. And I know these two got a vengeance out for each other. Regardless of growing up together and fighting together, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The way that fight went down, I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like this is gonna be history. Like, I can't wait to watch this shit again.